Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys and you ladies, this literally does not work. Well, as they always tell me, don't quit your day job because there's no future here for you on YouTube. You don't have the looks. You definitely don't have the name pronunciation or the King's English whatsoever. Definitely are too old and way too ugly for this. So don't quit your day job. And I haven't. I'm actually down at my in-laws right now because I'm working on some rental properties to get ready for tenants to move in. People moved out. Things need to be repaired and replaced and cleaned up and everything else. And new people moved in. Everybody needs a nice place to live in. And that's what I do. So no fireside chat. I tried to make up for it by being up on top of the mountain and bringing you guys the sunset. I originally went to talk about Dak Prescott and the idea that Dak Prescott will join the 5,000 yard club. But the beauty of the sun and the serenity that was there, it was just like I didn't really get started in talking about that. And I'll go into it more because I want to actually look and see how many quarterbacks have ever thrown for 5,000 yards, as well as the success they had during those seasons. Because it's possible that you've had quarterbacks, and I know Drew Brees, I believe, had 3 seasons where he threw for tons and tons of yards, and they were 7 and 9. So from the standpoint of that, people will say, "Oh, it was garbage time yards, empty calories." With Dak Prescott, they wouldn't say that with Drew Brees. Nobody looks at those 4 seasons that were 7 and 9 and say those were empty calorie yards, even though those were the most yardage that he ever threw in his career on those seasons. So it's all in perspective. But I've been thinking, the Cowboys, like everybody, when you listen to them talk about the Washington football team, they'll say, "Oh, if Ryan Fitzpatrick can get 4,000 yards and Ryan Fitzpatrick can play steady and stay healthy, and with that defensive line, they're there's always these if, ands, or buts. If this happens, and that's for everybody. You can look at Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay, who held serve, that usually doesn't work. Usually when you bring back all of the pieces, sometimes the pieces don't quite work the same. Bill Belichick was famous for winning and then getting rid of about 30% of the people to have that turnover to keep people on their toes. Now, we'll see if Tampa Bay is the one to do it. And at some point, I know Tom Brady is considered the GOAT, and he's partially the GOAT because nobody's allowed to touch him. But at some point, Father Time has got to catch up with that guy. Father Time has got to catch up with him. I mean, dude is only 12 years younger than me, okay? And I'm due for 2 knee surgeries. Knee replacements, okay? Think about that. 12 years younger than me. That's it. He's an old ass. At some point, unless he done sold his soul to the devil, which is possible. It is possible. I mean, he does have Giselle and all that money and all those super. It could be that he sold his soul to the devil. But be that as it may, if Dak Prescott, of course, can stay upright, he'll be fine. If the offensive line can stay healthy, the offense will be fine. And then, of course, there's the defense. The thing I have pounded on for years about one of the downfalls of Jason Garrett is the Dallas Cowboys have not been innovators in forever. Not at all during the Jason Garrett era. There's nothing that you can point to and say, that's something new. You follow me? Think about some of the great teams. The 85 Bears. They came up with the 50 defense. You think about even the Atlanta Falcons back, with Jerry Glanville. They didn't win the Super Bowl, but they innovated and they came up with the run and shoot offense. It elevated them, took them a long way. You can think about, in recent history, the Miami Dolphins with the Wildcat. And for a while, that was working like crazy. You can say, yeah, the Wildcat, that came from Miami. You can think about the K-gun with Buffalo. Or you can think about the single back with Washington. You can think about the flex defense with the Dallas Cowboys or the shotgun. These were all changes of doing something different that gave the team an advantage. The Cowboys have not been innovators in forever. They've been more of intimidators. No, they haven't been intimidating. What is the? I'm lost. This is again another reason why I shouldn't be having. I'm not to quit my day job. Intimidators? No, intimidating means that you scare people. Look, they're copycats. That's what they are. They copy shit that's already been done. You think about the Legion of Boom, single high safety. You think about the Tampa 2. Those things came out of innovations and changes of what they're doing. And I dare say that maybe we're watching in front of our eyes the Dallas Cowboys defense evolving into something different than what we've seen. A new style defense. Now we're told we're a 3-4 base, but then we'll have a 4-3 that will be a hybrid. And you're seeing these multi-tool players, and you see them almost like Dan Quinn is a mad scientist, and he's experimenting here through OTAs and training camp to come up with something different. We've seen, where they've gone through and they've got a certain type of player that they're looking for. They're not just looking for great players. They're looking for players that fit a mold. Because you can have great parts, but if the parts don't fit together, if that screw doesn't go into that nut, it doesn't matter how strong it is. It doesn't fit. It doesn't work. You can have great parts, but if they don't fit and work together, it doesn't mean jack. And so you see the evolution here of getting a guy, Keanu O'Neal. Whoa, dude, Keanu O'Neal, who's a safety, but creating him into a linebacker. He's a little bit smaller, but he's a little bit quicker than your typical one. And that's kind of that hybrid role where he'll be better at covering receivers, but he knows how to tackle. That's an innovation, and that's a change from the norm. You see a guy like Van Der Esch, who's been kind of a Mike linebacker, now playing on the weak side. They're interchanging. Keanu O'Neal, more pass coverage type of a package. Who is he really? Is he really a linebacker? Or is he actually a safety that's at the line of scrimmage? It's kind of like the one-back offense that Washington ran. They didn't really do away with the fullback. They made him like a hybrid and called him an H-back. Because he wasn't big enough really to be a tight end. But he really wasn't a fullback either. He kind of played both roles. He could catch the football. He could block. He would do a multitude of things. And this is different than the traditional role of a fullback. It was a hybrid. And it allowed them to have basically more bigger blockers in front of them. And the running back to pick the hole to go. And with that, Joe Gibbs won 3 Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks. An innovation. So we see guys like Micah Parsons, who is a great pass rushing linebacker, but also a good sideline to sideline kind of guy. We've gotten better at the safety position, more athletic guys. We've gotten bigger on the defensive line, but yet they're big, but they're athletic. When you look at a Tristan Hill, if he makes the team, Tristan Hill, 300-pounder, but he's got a high motor. You look at Gallimore, the Canadian bulldozer, another 300-pound defensive tackle, but he's got a high motor, and he's got a push. When you've seen him being able to push a Mike Pouncey on his ass, and now you get a Quentin Bohannon who is, 330, 325, with a high motor, who has lost weight because I think they've let him know, listen, we like your size, but we don't like it that much. We need you to be more athletic. So you've got 900 pounds plus in the middle there. And then you've got a linebacker who can play a multitude of things. Is he going to be like a hybrid defensive end linebacker? Is our linebacker a hybrid safety and cornerback? Are we seeing the new Legion of Boom? The new 50 defense? The new Doomsday? I think we're about to see something that we haven't seen before. And if that's the case, it's going to make it difficult for offenses. In my mind, what I believe is they look at a team like the Giants, even though they still have Danny Dollar Store, who, has had the only quarterback in the history of football to have more fumbles than games. A guy who had 10 interceptions and only 11 touchdown passes in 13 games. But they have a lot of receivers in there. Not that they got a quarterback that can get it to them. They got a lot of receivers in there. And so you're looking at these matchups where you need to understand that the linebacker has got to be able to cover. And that's why you make a safety into a linebacker. He is your slot cover guy in these passing downs when you got 3 and 4 wide outs. So when you're in your nickel package, you've got, in case they decide to run, you got the guy who can run. Stop. If they decide to pass, you got the guy who can cover and pass. Innovation. That's a little bit of a change. And I think that's part of the thing that they're looking at. And by having these big athletic guys, what they're looking and hoping to be able to do is to get pressure from that line. Because that, my friends, will be key. If you can get pressure with the defensive line without having to blitz, that means we've got more guys that can cover those guys. If we have a Quentin Bohannon who is able to push the pocket in a double team, and then we have a Randy Gregory and a D-Law who can get some pressure on the outside, and we've got a linebacker who's able to cover in the slot instead of having to blitz because we can get that pressure, all of a sudden this is kind of a new hybrid defense. Innovation instead of copycat. I hope that's what it's going to be. And I hope that's what we're about to see. And that down the road, we'll be talking about the Dallas Cowboys defense, like the Legion of Boom and the Doomsday defense. That this is the new defense, at least for a while, till somebody comes up with some other new shit. So as always, I appreciate y'all. Sorry I don't have a fire in front of me, but I don't have a fire pit down here. Maybe there's so many things that are going on right now. The next week, I can't believe I was riding down the road, coming off the mountain, seeing the sunset. And if you want to see something beautiful, watch the sunset. In fact, I videotaped it, and I may speed it up, just driving on Skyline Drive. Oh, sorry, Blue Ridge Parkway. It's Skyline Drive north, and it's Blue Ridge south. But just driving that road on top of the mountains with the sun and the green and the rocks and everything, it's just, it's beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. But realizing that It's already Wednesday. It's already hump day. It's gone. I was like, Mike, it's already hump day. Tomorrow's already Thursday. It seemed like I was just doing the fantasy football video with D Stu on Sunday. I thought that was like yesterday. He's like, Dad, it's summertime. Shit goes by fast. And he ain't lying. He ain't lying. So in the course of this next week, I got an eye appointment on Saturday. It's Father's Day on Sunday. Tuesday night, I have to be here for a meeting with the planning board about the red brick house. And that's the first of 2 zoning meetings about trying to change the zoning on there, because I've been trying to change and save this 200-year-old house from falling to the ground. And the zoning has been the issue of commercial highway, meaning that it has to be a business and having off-street parking. And there's not enough property to do all that, not unless I could raise the house and build a parking garage underneath of it. And I've been working for 4 years to try and do that. I've got houses that are for affordable houses. And I believe that everybody should have a great place to live. Everybody should have a great place to live. A place that they can call home, a place that they can feel safe and comfortable in, that they can raise their family in. And that's one of my life's works. And if I can get this red brick house that's been sitting empty for probably 15 years or so it's usable, that'll become my home base when I'm down here. And I'll be able to set myself up my studio. Maybe a little fire pit outside. Who knows? Although being outside, there's a cemetery that's 200 plus years old right next door. I don't know if I want to be outside at night. But I have that on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. And then I have to be back up the road and at the medical center by 10 o'clock in the morning so I can have surgery on my knee. It's a lot of moving parts. I appreciate all of y'all. I appreciate having this day. Hope that I have another one tomorrow. And I hope, excuse me, hope I don't die right here. Hopefully, I'll be here with you guys tomorrow. Hope you had a great day, and I hope you made the most of it. I'll see you soon.